This is 31 incredible mods we need in Bonelab on the Meta Quest 2 when it launches this year. Let's go. So first up is a SlideScale mod. This is a basic mod that allows you to increase the size of almost every item by grabbing it with both hands and simply moving your hands apart. The uses of this mod are very limited. They can be fun to see an overgrown crowbar hit a forward on the head. The guns can also be scaled while also using little clips, and shooting things looks hilarious when you do it, but the real fun comes when you use this mod on body parts of the enemies. The results are absolutely hilarious, and it would be amazing to have this level of ridiculousness in Bonelab. Next up then is the Modern Warfare Variety Pack. As I mentioned earlier, there are many weapons to choose from in BONEWORKS, but I feel like variety is the spice of life, or death you could say. So having an option to use Modern Warfare's best weapons is definitely a good treat to have. Especially when you have a Scar, which is definitely COD's best weapon, and I'll fight anybody who says differently. Carrying these weapons over to Bonelab will be at least fun, but at most absolutely epic. Next up is the Star Wars lightsaber. Now, whenever a game has mods, you can guarantee that someone will make a Star Wars lightsaber mod. It happens literally all the time, so while this is a list commenting on mods we need, this is obviously foreshadowing, as it's guaranteed going to happen. But what more can I say other than who doesn't love slicing through enemies with a lightsaber, unless you're the one getting sliced, of course. Next up is custom maps. Now, this isn't a specific mod as such, but we definitely want to see custom maps in the same way you can get custom maps in Blade and Sorcery Nomad. This opens up the game to some great maps like the one I'm using now from Gang Beasts. This makes the possibilities of where you can take down some evil forts endless, and it's always good to see the amount of love that goes into some maps. Now the next mod is Camera Plus. Now this is an absolute much needed mod that allows you to place a custom camera around the map and change its settings to behave in a manner of different ways. It's perfect if you're a YouTuber, or even better if you just like seeing things from a different perspective. Blade and Sorcery Nomad has this as standard, so Bonelab might go the same way. However, if not, this mod will be absolutely great. So this mod is two mods in one. So this is the Spiderman web slinging and the Spiderman outfit. Now, if you've been keeping up with BONEWORKS mods, then the Spiderman web shooter definitely would have caught your attention. You can swing from any object while shooting webs from any hand, grab weapons and items and pull them towards you, and even use it on enemies to throw them around the map. Now, you can also dress as Spiderman, and it looks incredible. That's all I can really say about that. And like I said, these are two mods, but they essentially need to be used together to have the effect. So I hope to see these when Bonelab is released.
Hey.
Next up then is multiplayer. This is probably just a pipe dream now, considering BONEWORKS originally uses Steam and Discord as a way of making the game multiplayer, and this just wouldn't be an option using the Quest 2 standalone. However, I can still hope that the BONEWORKS multiplayer mod will somehow make its way over to Quest 2 when Bonelab is released. I really hope, and my fingers are definitely crossed for this one, no matter how unlikely it seems. So next up is the customizable MK18. Now, being able to customize your weapon was something dramatically missing from BONEWORKS, and therefore that will probably be the case in Bonelab when it's released on the Oculus Quest 2. Now, even if it did come with some customization, it's unlikely to rival the level of customization you can reach with this mod. You can add almost every imaginable attachment, from a holoscope to a foregrip, all the way up to a laser pointer. You can add them all at once or one at a time, making a very deadly weapon combination. Next up is the John Wick player model. Now, since BONEWORKS was released, YouTube has been saturated with John Wick style VR videos, taking stylish kills and guns and melee weapons to new VR heights. So it would make sense that people will do the same with Bonelab when it's released on the Meta Quest 2. Now, it would make sense that having a John Wick player model would be a great addition to Bonelab, so you can take down those null bodies in an even more stylish manner. Next up then is another player model, and that's the Master Chief player model. Now, who doesn't love Halo? I do. But regardless of your thoughts on the game, having a Master Chief model in any game is an absolute must-have. Blade Associates had one for a long time, and so has BONEWORKS, so it's going to be incredible to have this character model in Bonelab. And in all fairness to the model, it looks absolutely incredible. So the next one, guys, is pure nostalgia in the Omb Battlefield. Now, Mario 64 is probably the best Mario game there has ever been. The very first level of Mario 64 is iconic, and somebody completely remade the level for BONEWORKS, adding a few new extra surprises while keeping the original aesthetic alive. This is full of nostalgia, as I said, for anyone able to play BONEWORKS on a PC who plan on getting Bonelab. This is a seriously incredible way of experiencing Omb Battlefield from Mario 64. The next mod we want to see in Bonelab is the AiModifier. Now, the AiModifier does exactly what it says on the tin. It allows you to modify the AI to behave in a way of your choosing. You can select any singular AI or groups of AI and set them to walk in a path or change who they are aggressive to. You can also change when they become aggressive, meaning you can just pit groups of AI against each other in a huge battle, or simply walk them away from a certain area. There will be hundreds, if not thousands, of uses for this mod in Bonelab. Next up is the grenades mod. Why was there no grenades in BONEWORKS? Well, I don't know the answer, but it didn't take long before someone created a mod that would give the game just that. The grenade mod gives you access to a group of different kinds of explosives, from a standard grenade to a pipe bomb. There is also a push grenade and a void grenade that gives you a lot of variety and has the framework so you can mod your own grenade, assuming you know how. We will definitely need some grenades in Bonelab, so this mod will be a must-have. Next up then is the 80 medieval weapons pack. Now, there are a ton of weapons to use in BONEWORKS, and it seems more variety is being added to Bonelab, but nobody has ever complained about having access to too many weapons, and that's why having an extra 80 weapons of the medieval kind is always going to be a treat. These weapons are pretty varied, from blunt weapons to swords and daggers. You can even have a scythe and become some sort of physics-based Grim Reaper, which is always going to be fun. That being said, they aren't the most detailed of weapons, but they're still a lot of fun to use, and we're definitely going to need them in Bonelab. Next up then is the Goldeneye Mod Pack. Now, Goldeneye on the Nintendo 64 is one of the most nostalgic games there is, and that's why someone ported over 16 weapons, 3 NPCs, and 2 maps from the game so you can play it in BONEWORKS. Now, I know I use the term nostalgia a lot, but this is a serious trip down memory lane. I mean, just listen to this. Now, if you haven't played Goldeneye, there is still some fun to be had with the wacky weapons and character models, so I'd be very happy to see this come to Bonelab this year. So next up is the Gun Ford mod. Now it's safe to say at this point that we won't be playing as Ford in Bonelab when it drops this year, but I think we should be able to bring him back in the form of a mod and then add an extra layer on top. In BONEWORKS, the evil Ford character does not use weapons, instead they would only follow you around and attempt to beat you down. The Gun Ford mod gives Ford 2 pistols which he will use to try and shoot you, only when you do damage to him, and it definitely adds another layer to the Ford character, so it would be good to see Ford come back with a vengeance in Bonelab. Next up then is the Halo weapon pack. We've already seen the Master Chief player model in previous videos, so it's only fitting that the Halo weapon pack made it into another one of these videos. There are a ton of weapons in this pack, from the battle rifle to the Covenant beam rifle, all with their own custom ammunition clips. The game has a few knives from the Halo universe, but the thing that stood out the most was the Halo energy sword, which looks absolutely great, and quite frankly, the more weapons we get in Bonelab the better, and if they're from Halo, who's gonna complain? Next up then is the BlueBox Sandbox. Now, the BlueBox is a custom map that looks like it was made by the actual BONEWORKS team. That's how good it looks, and that's how good it fits in with the aesthetic of BONEWORKS. It's pretty straightforward in the sense that it just looks like the original sandbox, with places to spawn enemies, guns, and bits of everything else. How will this benefit Bonelab? Well, assuming Bonelab launches with mods, then having access to different kind of levels will definitely add more scope to the game, especially early on. So having maps like BlueBox will be a welcome addition to Bonelab. Next up is the Minecraft weapons pack, and of course Minecraft was going to make it on this list somewhere, because it seems everywhere you go there is always something related to Minecraft. Somebody made the different types of Minecraft objects in BONEWORKS. Now there isn't a varied amount of weapons to choose from, it's just mainly the sword, axe and the pickaxe, along with a totem of undying. Also there is a box, just a regular box, that has the grass skin from Minecraft on it, so it's quite funny, and you can do very little with it. However, with the weapons you can take out enemies, and although it looks odd seeing these weapons in BONEWORKS, they would definitely be great to use in Bonelab. So the next mod on our list is the Time Stop mod. Now, this mod, as I always say, does exactly what it says on the tin. It allows you to make time come to an absolute stop. I mean, obviously. Now, it sounds basic, but this allows you to have worlds of fun, as you can damage your enemies and then restart time again to see the damage inflict on your opponents. You can also move them around like you were Quicksilver and put them in funny and weird poses, all of which lead to some funny moments. It's quite obvious why you would want this in Bonelab, because it's just an incredible funny mod. Next up then is the Apache Helicopter. You heard that right, lads. Somebody made a model of an Apache Helicopter in BONEWORKS, and it looks absolutely brilliant. Now, why would it be good to have in Bonelab? Because it's not just a model, but a fully functioning flying machine with machine guns and rockets. You can just walk up, open the door, sit in the cockpit, pull the lever, and then control it with a flight stick in front of you. It even has a seriously cool camera that you can see underneath the helicopter with. And as you can see by the looks of it as a model as well, it looks absolutely incredible. So first up on our list then is the Crossbow, formerly known as the YOK22 Crossbow mod. Now I'm a big fan of crossbow weapons in games, so it was great to see someone bring one to BONEWORKS in the form of this mod. It's a standard crossbow with 3 different colours, custom reloading animation and custom ammunition. Each coloured crossbow is a different variant, from coming equipped with a laser sight to an ACOG scope. You even have a variant that comes equipped with an explosive tipped arrows. This would be an incredible addition to Bonelab when it launches this year. Now this next mod is absolutely insane, and it's the BONEWORKS Chaos mod. Now the BONEWORKS Chaos mod is a mod that adds hundreds of different effects and gameplay changes to the game, but it does it in a very creative way. It adds a random effect every 30 seconds. The effects can literally be anything from reversing the gravity to playing an ad hoc game of Simon Says, where you have to do what the game says, and it is absolutely chaos. I mean, chaos is a little bit of an understatement if I'm honest. Now this mod can be very heavy on the performance of a game, even on a powerful PC. So if this was to appear on the MetaQuest version of Bonelab, then it would need to be heavily watered down. But it still could be very fun nonetheless, especially if we had some form of multiplayer. Next up then is the Gravity Hands mod. Now you're going to find out that this list has loads of mods that change the effects in the game, and this one is no different. The Gravity Hands mod is kind of like a Star Wars force push pull mod where you can use your hands to move objects around in the air. That includes bad guys as well. It's very fun to be able to change the gravity, and it will toss some enemies around the level, and even though it's very limited in its uses, it's a good mod to have, so it will be definitely good to have in Bonelab. So next up is the remote weapons. Now the remote weapons mod turns any weapon into a sentry gun, assuming you can find a way to make them stationary. It is really that simple. You can make any weapon shoot from anywhere, and you can also link multiple weapons to shoot at the same time, if you were so inclined to do so. This will be good for also setting traps for your enemies. Now it also works with customizable weapons, so this mod makes the world of Bonelab a very, very dangerous world indeed. So next up is the Zero Gravity mod. Now this mod, as obviously as it is, basically takes all the gravity away and allows you and your enemies to float around as if you were floating around in a vacuum of space. But if we don't get the next mod on this list, this will be the next best thing, and that's why we are jumping straight to the next mod, which is the Gravity Adjuster mod. Now no doubt this will be the best of all gravity modification mods, if it makes its way to Bonelab of course. It has a ton of settings that allow you to adjust the gravity incrementally to more or less, and make yourself or NPCs immune to any changes that you make. This is basically a create your own gravity mod, and considering we are confirmed to have arena and sandbox mode in Bonelab, there is plenty of reason to want to change the gravity, so this one will definitely be one to look out for. So next up is the Easy Dual Wielding mod. Now the Easy Dual Wielding mod allows you to use 2 single-handed weapons and reload them without the need of putting either one down. This is done by making your ammo pouch an automatic reloading point. All you have to do is touch the pouch with your empty weapon and the clip will fill up straight away, allowing you to take on the world all over again in record time. So now we have the Explosive Bullets mod. Now exactly 10 does comes to mind when we talk about this mod, because it does exactly that, exactly what it says on the tin. It gives your guns explosive bullets. Now the best thing about this mod is that you can change the settings of the mod so the explosions are bigger or smaller, or if they take up a wider area or not. The one extremely fun thing to do, besides for making all your enemies fly in all different directions, is to propel yourself into the sky by shooting below you as you jump into the air. Kind of like the old Halo days, if you're old enough to remember. There is no actual specific reason to want this in Bonelab, other than it is some seriously cool stuff. So guys, this is probably the most strange, the most odd, the weirdest, most absolutely crazy and unnecessary mod there is. It's the baby mod. Now that's right guys, someone went out their way to model a realistic baby with crying sound effects in BONEWORKS, and well, I mean, look at them, they're absolutely terrifying. I mean, look at their eyes. Now I'm not sure what you'd want to do with this mod, but quite frankly it's absolutely hilarious to see them crawling around, and if you annoy them they will actually attack you as well. Once again, there is no reason for this mod to exist, but while it does, let's give the players of Bonelab a laugh then, shall we? Anyway, that's it from me. Bye for now.